The first thing you really need to do before you actually work in Dreamweaver, and I don't consider this an option, although it's possible to work in Dreamweaver without creating a site, I don't think you'd be very smart if you did that. If you skip lesson 1, I want you to go back to it because that's where we talk about generating a site. So I've got one right here. It's a folder. In that folder, if I double click and open it, Mac or Windows, again, doesn't make any difference, I have a couple of folders that I use. Now, I may add more as time goes on, but I have originals. Now, that's for stuff that will never see the server. That's my original Photoshop documents, my original AIs, text documents that I need to actually work on the pages, but will never ever be used by the web itself. I like to keep tabs on that stuff. I put it here. You don't have to. This is my slant on things, remember. I have a folder for my images, one for my web pages, and one for any other documents like PDFs and things that I'm going to be using to load. That's kind of how I start a site out. And like I said, I may add different folders if I feel I need them, but this is a good place to start. So the first thing we did is we created a folder and put some other folders in it. We're ready to go. I'm going to go into Dreamweaver. I already have it open. If you don't, open it up. Go to the word Site on the pull-down menu and select New Site. Under New Site, this is actually pretty easy. There's not a lot to do here, but you do have a lot of options that we'll talk about later, like servers and version control and some advanced settings. All we have to do to get started is this one right here. I want you to give your site a name. Andy's Big Site, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't matter what those words are. They'll never see the server. Give it a name if you're like me and you work on a lot of sites. Give it a name that makes sense so you can get back to it. Local site folder is this one right here. We need to tell it that by clicking this button to browse. And we'll go over here into the desktop, and there it is, Andy's Site. Click Choose. That's all we have to do for now. Like I said, we'll get into some of this other stuff later, but all we have to do is give it a name, click Save. If you'll notice over here in my files, there it is. There's nothing in it yet. We have to start making things. If you want to manage your site, you can come back up to the word Site right here and go down to Manage Sites, and you will see a listing of all the different sites that you are currently working on. You can go to any one anytime you want to by selecting it and then clicking the Done button down here, and everything changes to that site. Site development to me is a very important thing to do. You really have to work with managing sites, and you have to work with creating them. Otherwise, this is just going to fall apart on you. It's going to get too complex. Always create a site before you get started.